Hey guys, I'm Siegfried. I'm the singer for the Austrian power metal band Dragony, and we're soon releasing our fourth studio album through Napalm Records. That's right, you may have seen this a couple of weeks ago. We announced that we signed a record deal with Napalm Records, and for us as an Austrian band, this really feels like sort of a coming home to the Austrian label, Napalm Records. For that reason, but not only for that reason, it is kind of a special pleasure for us to introduce to you the concept of our upcoming fourth album. The album title will be Viribus Unitis, and this is the motto of the penultimate Austrian emperor, Kaiser Franz Joseph I. The reason for this is that we've sort of decided to take on a little bit of an alternate history, fictionalized storyline approach to the times of Kaiser Franz Joseph, Empress Elizabeth, their son Archduke Rudolf, and some other characters that lived through these times up until the time of the First World War. Our story for Viribus Unitis begins in 1867 at the time of the Austro-Hungarian Compromise. This is a time where, after defeats in the wars against Italy in the Sardinian War and against Prussia in the 7 Weeks' War, Emperor Franz Joseph is forced to accept the demands of the Hungarian aristocracy and re-establish the Kingdom of Hungary. So this is a time of uncertainty for him after suffering some defeats, and he's sort of questioning the future of his empire. This is reflected in the first single of our album, called The Gods of War. Now, in our storyline of Viribus Unitis, we take a little bit of a creative approach and very, let's say, loose handling of historical facts. So while the storyline is based on historical figures and some of the events that are taking place actually occur in real life and real history, we're taking some liberties with that. I don't know if any of you guys have ever seen movies like Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, or Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, or even something like Inglourious Basterds. All these movies, they take some well-known themes and even real historical figures and just approach them with a little bit of a different twist. And that's exactly what we're doing. So in our story, history takes a little bit of a different course, because in real life, Kaiser Franz Josef's son, Archduke Rudolf, committed suicide at Castle Mayerling in the 19th century. This is not taking place in our story. So in our story, he survives, and he actually turns to black magic and dark forces in order to win the love and affection of his mother, Empress Elizabeth. And he never really succeeds, and then something that actually happened in real life, Empress Elizabeth gets assassinated in Geneva. And this kind of tragedy pushes Rudolf over the edge. So he goes a little bit totally insane, and with the help of some black magic and ancient rituals, he tries to actually resurrect his assassinated mother, bring her back from the dead. Naturally, that's never a good thing to do, never a smart idea, because she comes back alright, but possessed by a demon from the underworld. And she just decides, yeah, you know what? I'm now zombified sissy, and I'm not gonna take no for an answer, you know? I'm gonna just run rampant over the whole world. So she raises an army of the undead by herself and leads that army into battle against the forces of mankind. So even the real tragedy of the First World War, that was one of the most impactful events of the 20th century, takes a different course, as mankind no longer fights amongst each other, but has to defend itself against the raging armies of the undead. And in the end, Empress Sissi, Empress of the Damned, is defeated by none other than her former husband, Kaiser Franz Joseph. However, he no longer is Kaiser Franz Joseph. He is now Cyberpunk Joseph, because he has been endowed with a cyberpunk/steampunk type armor by none other than Nikola Tesla. But enough of that. You can read all the details about that in our storyline synopsis on our website. Now, in real life, of course, Kaiser Franz Joseph, he was not Cyberpunk Joseph. He did not enter battle himself in a mechanized armor. Hard to believe, I know, but yeah, that's not what happened. In real life, he was one of the longest reigning regents in recent modern history. He assumed the throne at the age of 18 in 1848 and remained Emperor of Austria and later on King of Hungary, until his death in 1916 during the height of the First World War. Through his lifetime, he lived through mostly peaceful times after the Austro-Hungarian Compromise, and of course until the start of the First World War. He suffered a lot of personal tragedies throughout his lifetime. His brother Maximilian I, the Emperor of Mexico, was executed. His only son, Archduke Rudolf, committed suicide. His wife Elizabeth was assassinated in Geneva, and then, of course, there was the moment and incident that sparked the First World War, the assassination of his nephew, Archduke Franz Ferdinand, the then heir apparent to the Austrian throne in 1914 in Sarajevo. Now, that being said, in Austrian culture, the times of Kaiser Franz Josef and his wife Sissi are often romanticized. Especially the German speakers among you will probably know the Sissi movies featuring Romy Schneider. We're taking a little bit of a different, a little bit of a darker, and a little bit of a more, I would say, ironic approach to the whole story of Franz Josef, Empress Sissi and Archduke Rudolf. Well, I hope you enjoyed our first little history lesson about Viribus Unitis and Kaiser Franz Josef. We will be back soon with more of these lessons, and next time you will learn something about a gentleman born in Budapest, Hungary, by the name of Eric Weiss, but you will know him as Harry Houdini. So make sure to tune in next time when it's time for another history lesson with Dragony. Take care, see you soon.